The prior video, we talked about how to build a report, a standard report on report on reports. But unfortunately, it lacked report type. So what I want to do is to now build a custom report type, how to do that. So we're going to go out to settings. We're going to launch the setup. We're going to go into report types. And then what we're going to do is to continue here. Kind of read through this. This is a good overview of what the next steps are, but I'm not. So click continue. And what it says is we want to build a new report type. And so I'm going to click here. And I'm going to get to a new report type. And for this report type, the first step is to just identify who the primary object is going to be. Again, we're going down to reports, which is an object. And so I'm going to click reports. And it's going to say, what do you want to do with it? So I'm going to type report on report type here. I'm going to copy that because I'm going to need to use it here in the description. And where do you want to store it? This could be a whole other video talking about categories, but we're going to throw it in administrative reports. We're going to say it's deployed. This is a dev org. I'm going to say next. It's going to give me this option, which is beyond the primary object records. What else do we want to do? So let's take a look. What else is out there? So we can say, we want to click here and say we want to do dashboard components. So if you have a dashboard, it's related to a report. And so this would be for all reports, the A object, that also have a dashboard. And so not all are going to have dashboards. So what that means is it's going to be a subset. But I really want all the reports because the purpose of this is actually to get report type. So this is more just experimenting to see what else is there. So I can click here and then I can add another object. And let's see, we've got dashboard component feed. And then how far down can we go? Let's go another level. And we're going to pick up comments. And then what it says is you reached your limit. You can't add any more. You're done. So we say fine. Let's save that. And so we're going to save. And then we're going to move to the next layer, which is the field layout. So I'm going to click here. There's currently, this is the number of fields that are available for me. So I'm going to click edit layout. It's going to say this now, these are the fields that you can play with. So we've got report name. What I want to do is to add report type. And so what I'm going to do is to say beyond just having it available, which is what it means when it's gray, I'm going to double click and I'm going to say I want it checked I want it to be showing as a default. This is where I could also kind of add additional information. So this is kind of report type, and I could add additional things if I cared to, but I don't need to. But what you'll see sometimes is that this is the last modified report. We've got, for example, a create date on reports. We also have a create date on the dashboard component. So we could always click this and say what we want to do is to say, let's change this to a dashboard component, right? And component. And I don't really want to save that by default, so I'm going to say OK and save that. So it'll show up, and we've now changed it. And you can see now it's going to show up here as a dashboard component, right? So I'm just going to reorder it down here. We'll see. So we're in there. We'll find it. What we can also do, so what we've done is there's additional. We could take some of these fields away as well. So if I say, I don't know that kind of what is it that I don't want to have here? Let's just say I am going to take off decimals. Okay, so I'm going to show the decimals to display. I'm going to pull that off. And I'm going to pull off this decimals as well. And here's another decimals. And what you're seeing is as I bring them over here, they're being removed. And so I've eliminated all the decimals. They're now showing over here. What I can also do is to add additional sections. And so I can say here, for example, if what I want to do is to, I can also if I'm looking at viewing my report fields, I'm going to go back to look at reports, and I'm going to say add a lookup here. I'm going to say who was it created by. I want to know who was the the manager of who created it, because I now have who created it, right? Because that's already there. But I can say, let me see your manager, just so I know which team they're part of. And I can say, okay. And what that's going to do, you can see a lookup shows up here. What I can also do is add a new section and call it the created by, right? So I'm going to say here, created by is my section name, and say okay. And I can take the manager and I can drag him down to created by. And then what I'm going to do is to, at this point, say save. And what that'll do is create the report. Okay, so now it's created. So what I can do is to go back out to my reports list. I can do a refresh. And then what I'm able to do is to see what do we have so far. And so I'm going to say, all right, first thing I'm going to do is to go out and build a new report. And that new report is going to have, it's an administrative report of reports. And actually, no, what I want is the report of reports by report. Okay, so I'm going to continue with this. And you can see these aren't alpha either, so it's kind of interesting to think about how those things are sorted. But this all may have changed. And I get something here, but you can see I have filters. So what I'm going to do is to show, let's just show all, right? All reports. And, oh, I didn't finish that. So all reports, and apply it. And then I also want to say create date. We're going to say, I want all, right? Let's just say, how do I get all? So here I'm going to say all time and say apply. And what that's going to do is to give me a whole bunch of reports here that I can work with. I'm going to sort this one by, let's sort it by type here, right? So we're going to sort this ascending. We're going to say that's what we're going to get. I'm going to now run this. First I'm going to save it and run it. Actually, first thing I'm going to do though is to do one more thing. I'm going to go out here and change. I'm going to call this a 9.1 and save that because what that does is it'll make the sort better for me. So I'm going to save it and run it. And I'm going to give it a name, and then I really should add more information here. So this is report details, and I can put it in private folders, but that's again another conversation. So I'm going to save it here. What that's going to do is say, great, you saved it. Here's what you get, and remember I could edit it and add additional stuff here anytime I needed to because I've got all these fields. And the fields would include, let me go to the bottom here, the created by manager. Remember that was the last thing we added along with these others. And we did zap off the decimals here, so they're not going to show up. But we do know that if we wanted them, we could have gotten the decimals for the dashboard components. Hope that helps. Lots there to learn. And I guess the important thing here is that now we've got, if I do reports by, I've now got it as a 9.1. It's all sorted right. Thanks for watching.